Everyone is watching us, but I only see you.
Charles had always been the steady type, the kind of guy who built his life like a solid Midwestern house-strong foundation, no frills, just reliable. He'd met Linda back in college in Chicago, where they bonded over late-night pizza runs and dreams of a simple life. Fast forward 10 years, they were married, living in a cozy suburb outside Detroit, with a golden retriever named Buddy and a mortgage that kept them grounded. Charles worked as an engineer at an auto plant, pulling overtime to save for that dream vacation to Hawaii. Linda was a teacher at the local elementary school. But lately, things felt off. Linda started staying late for staff meetings, her phone buzzing more than usual. Charles chalked it up to stress until he noticed the new lingerie in her drawer. Stuff she never wore for him. One evening, he came home early from a shift and heard her on the phone, giggling like a teenager. "Michael, you're so different." "So exciting," she whispered. Charles's heart sank. Michael was the new gym coach at her school, a tall, charismatic black guy who'd moved from Atlanta. Rumors flew about his charm, but Charles never imagined it'd hit home. That night, over dinner, Linda was distant, picking at her meatloaf. Charles tried to spark conversation. "How was your day, hun?" With Michael about the fundraiser, her eyes lit up just saying his name. Charles felt a knot in his gut, but he pushed it down. Little did he know, the affair had already ignited. Linda had crossed the line weeks ago, sneaking lunches that turned into stolen afternoons at a motel off 1275, she told herself. It was just a fling, a spark missing from her routine marriage, but deep down, she craved the thrill Michael brought the way. He made her feel alive, desired in ways Charles's steady love couldn't match. As days turned to weeks, Linda's guilt mixed with excitement, she'd compare them in her mind. Charles, dependable but predictable. Michael, passionate and bold. One heated night with Michael, she blurted it out in the afterglow. "Black men are better. At least you are," he laughed. But those words would haunt her soon enough. Charles, oblivious for now, sensed the shift. Their bed felt colder, conversations shorter. The perfect facade was cracking and revenge was brewing in the shadows. Charles couldn't shake the suspicion anymore. After weeks of Linda coming home late, smelling like a different cologne, something spicy and bold, he decided to dig deeper. One Friday, he called out sick from the plant and followed her after school. She drove straight to a cheap motel on the edge of town, the kind with neon signs flickering vacancy. Charles parked across the street, heart pounding. As he watched her knock on room 12, the door opened, and there was Michael pulling her inside with a grin. He waited an hour, stomach churning before storming over. Banging on the door, he yelled, "Linda, open up." The door cracked and there she was, wrapped in a towel, face pale. Michael stood behind her in boxers, unfazed. "What's going on here?" Linda stammered, "Charles, we need to talk." But Michael smirked. "Man, just go home." She's made her choice back at the house that night. It all spilled out. Linda sat on the couch, tears streaming, confessing everything, the lunches, the motel hookups, how Michael made her feel young again. "It's not you, Charles. You're great, but safe? Boring?" Then, in a moment of cruel honesty, she said it. "Michael's just better. Black men are better in bed, more passionate, you know?" Charles froze, the words hitting like a punch. He'd heard stereotypes, but from his own wife. About the man she'd chosen over him, he didn't yell. Just packed a bag and left for a buddy's place. "I need space," he said quietly. Linda begged him to stay, but he was done. Divorce papers were filed the next week. She moved out, shacking up with Michael in a small apartment downtown. Charles threw himself into work, hitting the gym, losing 20 pounds, growing a beard, transforming the pain into fuel. Friends said he looked sharper, more confident. But inside, the betrayal burned, especially those racist-tinged words she'd thrown at him. Revenge wasn't on his mind yet, but the seed was planted. 2 months flew by in a blur. For Linda, living with Michael felt like a whirlwind. Romance, at first passionate. Nights in his cramped Detroit apartment, spontaneous drives to Lake Michigan, and that electric chemistry that made her forget the divorce proceedings. Michael was everything Charles wasn't. Adventurous, outgoing, always up for a party. They'd hit up bars in Greektown, dancing till dawn. Her laughing at his jokes about upgrading from her old life. "See, told you, black men got that fire," he'd tease, echoing her ill-fated words. But cracks started showing. Michael's charm hit a wandering eye. Linda caught him flirting with the barista at their favorite coffee spot, then scrolling dating apps when he thought she was asleep. Money was tight. His coaching gig didn't pay like Charles's engineering job, and bills piled up. Arguments erupted over little things. His late nights out with buddies, her nagging about stability. "This ain't what I signed up for," he'd snap. Linda missed the comfort of her old home, the predictability. Guilt crept in, two friends sided with Charles, calling her out for the affair. Social media whispers labeled her the home wreck. Meanwhile, Charles thrived. He got a promotion at the plant, bought a sleek new truck, and started dating casually. Word got back to Linda through mutual friends. Charles was happier, fitter, living his best life. Jealousy stirred in her chest. One day, scrolling his Facebook, she saw him at a Tigers game, arm around a pretty coworker. Linda's life with Michael unraveled faster than a cheap sweater. What started as passion turned toxic. Michael's adventurous side meant blowing paychecks on nights out. Leaving her to cover rent with her teacher's salary, he'd disappear for hours, coming back smelling like cheap perfume, denying everything. "Baby, you're paranoid," he'd say. But Linda found texts from other women coworkers, exes, even a parent from school. The thrill faded, replaced by insecurity. She missed Charles's reliability, the way he'd fix the leaky faucet without complaint, or surprise her with her favorite takeout from that hole-in-the-wall Chinese place. One evening, after a blowout fight where Michael stormed out, Linda scrolled through old photos on her phone. There was Charles, grinning at their wedding in that rented tux, or building a snowman with Buddy last winter. Tears welled up. She texted him, "Hey, can we talk? Miss our chats?" No reply. Days later, she drove by their old house, now his alone. Lights on, but a new car in the driveway. A woman's laugh echoed from inside. Jealousy burned hotter than guilt. At school, whispers grew. Michael was flirting with the new aide, barely hiding it. Linda confronted him. "Is this what better looks like?" He shrugged. "You left your man for me? Deal with it." That night, alone in bed, she realized the grass wasn't greener, it was weeds. Begging Charles back crossed her mind, but pride held her. For now. Reality crashed down on Linda like a Michigan winter storm. Michael's charm evaporated, completely one weekend. When she found condoms in his gym bag, not the brand they used, confrontation turned ugly. "Who are they for?" she screamed. He admitted it casually. "Just some fun on the side. You did the same to your hubby, right?" The hypocrisy stung. Linda slapped him, but he just laughed. "Grow up, Linda. This ain't a fairy tale." Crashing at a friend's couch in an Arbor Days blurred into loneliness. School felt like a chore. Kids' innocent questions about her new boyfriend twisting the knife. Social media showed Charles thriving. A post from a company picnic. Looking 10 years younger, comments from friends. "Good for you, man." Envy turned to desperation. She texted Charles again. "Please, can we meet? I messed up big time." No response at first, but then a curt reply. "Coffee shop on Main. Tomorrow at 10, hope flickered." Linda primped, rehearsing apologies. "I'll beg if I have to," she thought. Michael already texting her replacement. The better life was a mirage, and now she craved the safety she'd thrown away. The smell of fresh brew hanging in the air like a lifeline. Linda arrived early, fidgeting with her latte, heart racing. When Charles walked in, she barely recognized him. Trimmed beard, fitted shirt hugging his new physique, exuding quiet confidence. He slid into the booth, ordering black coffee. "No sugar. You wanted to talk," he said flatly, eyes steady. Linda's words tumbled out. "Charles, I screwed up. Michael's a jerk, cheating, irresponsible. I miss us, the stability, the love we had. Please, give me another chance. I'll do anything. Therapy, whatever." Tears streamed down her face as she reached for his hand. "I was stupid saying those things. You're the better man. Forgive me." Charles listened, sipping his coffee, expression unreadable. Memories flashed her betrayal. Those hurtful words about Michael being better. Part of him wanted to lash out, but he'd planned this moment. "You hurt me deep, Linda. Broke our vows over a fling." She nodded frantically. "I know. I'm begging here." "We can try," hope lit her eyes. But inside, Charles smirked. The real surprise was coming. As they left the coffee shop, Charles suggested, "Come back to the house. We can talk more there." Linda's heart soared. Forgiveness seemed within reach. Driving over in separate cars, she rehearsed more apologies. Imagining rebuilding their life, pulling into the driveway, the familiar sight of their suburban home brought tears. Buddy barked excitedly as they entered. Inside, Charles poured wine, toasting 2 second chances. Linda leaned in, kissing him tentatively. He responded, but something felt off-calculated. As they moved to the couch, the doorbell rang. "Expecting someone?" she asked. Charles smiled slyly. "Yeah, actually." He opened the door, and in walked a stunning woman, tall, confident, with rich brown skin and a warm laugh. "Hey, babe," she said, kissing Charles deeply. Linda's jaw dropped. "Who?" The woman extended a hand. "I'm Jasmine, Charles's girlfriend." Charles turned to Linda, eyes cold. "You were right, hun. Passionate, loyal, everything you weren't." Jasmine chuckled. "He told me all about your little stereotype slip," Linda stammered. "But you said we'd try." Charles shrugged. "I lied. Wanted you to feel the rejection, the betrayal. Now get out, divorce is final tomorrow. Enjoy your upgrade. Linda fled, humiliated, the door slamming behind her. Revenge tasted sweet for Charles. As he and Jasmine shared a real toast, if you felt it, don't let it end here. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're pushing hard to reach 1K subscribers, and every single one of you makes it happen. More stories like this heart-wrenching betrayals, ice-cold revenge, and twists that leave you speechless are coming every week. Subscribe now. Let's cross that 1K mark together. You won't want to miss what's next.